Hey everyone, welcome to the May edition of Charon's Crate with our cocktail series for this month, Neptune Rising. So we have a very special guest with us this month. I'd like to introduce Megan Weston. She is the owner of Felicity Loft Teas, a handmade tea company based out of Soldotna. So welcome, Megan.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
It's
excited to be here.
so good to have you here. Just a little quick story how Megan and I met, and we got to use her fantastic product in this month's cocktail crate. Was kind of kicking around at La Bodega and came across these teas that were on the shelf at La Bodega that just had these beautiful profiles, really unique ingredients, and they just happened to be from Alaska. And so I immediately became obsessed, harassed Nicole at La Bodega about where are these teas from, who is it, wouldn't leave her alone until she gave me Megan's contact info. And so I reached out to Megan and said, hey, I want to make some drinks with your tea. So kind of chatted back and forth, and Megan brought us down to Soldotna and just showed us an amazingly good time. Fed us, gave us tours, showed us her production facility, showed us everything that she was doing with the tea, and we just fell in love with it and decided that we had to collaborate on a cocktail project. And so that's how we kind of
Here we
came to
are.
be using Aurora Dreams, which we'll chat about here in a little bit, in this month's cocktail series. So you have a rich background in the service industry.
It's been a
Tell us,
while.
yeah, tell us kind of how you got into the industry.
Yeah, I mean, my first job, I was a Sonic car hop in Arkansas, and that was a couple decades ago. And then out throughout high school and college, worked in several small restaurants and, just did a lot of fast casual type food service. And then out of college, I ended up on Martha's Vineyard, and that was my introduction to kind of an elevated version of food service.
Step up from Sonic.
I mean, yeah,
A little bit.
it was an introduction, that's for sure. And then from
Absolutely.
there, I went to Boston and managed a restaurant on Beacon Street, and then moved back to Alaska, where my family had been living. And we had been here off and on most of my life. And so I moved back up here, ended up buying a restaurant down on the peninsula called Odie's. We make sandwiches and other things. And then a few years ago as well, bought a restaurant with a dear friend of mine called Lucy's Market, which is a little cheese shop on the peninsula. And Kelsey runs that and does an amazing job, and I just get to be a part of the fun stuff. And then we did some catering in there as well. And so I've just been, a part of kind of this Soldotna food scene for a while, and it's been a lot of fun. I love being in the hospitality
Wow,
industry.
just incredible journey. So coming from all of your experience and that journey that you did have through the service industry, from working to ownership, how did you get inspired to come up with the Felicity Loft concept?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of front of house. Front of house has always been my passion, but I do love the kitchen as well. And it's something, as I've gotten older, I wanted to spend more and more time in. And so, when I bought Odie's, one of the things that was really important to me is that I use as much local ingredients as I could, local products when I could. And so started developing relationships with different farmers and farm organizations, and that just got to be something that was really important to me. And at the same time, parallel to that is, was getting to know my partner and his family, who drink an obscene amount of tea, and really developing my own love of tea. I grew up drinking tea like in the evenings with my mom, but it was like mostly just peppermint tea. Those kind of two journeys were side by side. And then a few years ago, I knew I wanted to start a new business, and I wanted something that was really I wanted to use Alaskan ingredients. I wanted to highlight Alaskans and what they were doing. And those things ended up meeting in the middle, where I wanted to have tea and wares, and I wanted to have more people be interested in tea because I love it so much. And when I say teas, I mean tea as in like Camellia sinensis, but I also mean like herbal infusions.
Sure.
Because those things, a lot of some people this or that, how you say it, but that's what
Right.
I'm talking about when I say that. So yeah, those things kind of came together. It's difficult to experience Alaskan produce year round because we can only grow for such a short season, and so it has to be preserved in some way. And tea is really the perfect way to highlight Alaskan ingredients while still being able to provide a product nationwide or internationally year round. So that's kind of how those two things came together, and it works really well with the industry that I'm from because hospitality, is so core to what I do, and at the same time, tea is one of the foundations of hospitality all over the
Absolutely.
world. So being able to bring those things together has been really, really fun.
Well, and then having something that's so international, like tea, and recognized all over the world. How is the journey and creating a business in Alaska specifically kind of helped form Felicity Loft?
Yeah, I mean, Alaska really dictates so much of what we do as Alaskans. This land that we get to live on is so beautiful and so powerful. And so I think that any Alaskan business owner will tell you there are a lot of challenges, and food service in Alaska can be a real pill. And so I really leaned into that. What are the things that Alaska offers that we can use that are unique, and how will those inspire and conform kind of the product that I make, but also constrictions like living in Alaska, I think breed creativity. It's one of the reasons like we're such a creative people and we're doing really cool things up here is because, that problem solving. So yeah, in a lot of different ways, like sometimes where we are, an ingredient will direct a blend, and then sometimes a constraint of some sort will direct it instead. So it's been fun to problem solve that process the whole way while still being inspired by Alaska and using Alaskan ingredients.
That is something that we can absolutely relate to with Charon's Crate. It's those unique challenges tend to really drive that creative mindset and that creative vein. So now that's super exciting to hear that somebody else
Oh, we're all
kind of
feeling
thrives
it.
off of that. So it is. We need to make some cocktails.
Oh, absolutely.
Before we get going, though, beautiful summer night in Alaska.
It's gorgeous.
If we're outside sitting on a patio, what is the cocktail that's going to be in your hand? As
Oh,
a
it's-
bartender, I have to ask.
Yeah, it's going to be a gin gimlet, like every time. A
Beautiful.
gin gimlet, and it's probably going to have, I would use honestly, make like a simple syrup with Aurora Dreams, or
Sure.
maybe one of my other blends. But if I can't find that, or I'm feeling lazy, just some elderflower liqueur as a sweetener and a gin gimlet. That's going to be my drink every
Unbelievably
time.
refreshing.
Yes.
Well, you should be pretty pleased to hear that we are doing a
I am.
gin-based cocktail for Neptune Rising. Now, before we jump into all the ingredients, we really are trying to showcase Aurora Dreams. Give us a quick rundown about Aurora Dreams.
Yeah, so this tea I made specifically for an evening tea. I wanted a nighttime, restful, end of their day, unwind beverage. And so this one it's chamomile, it's mint, and those are both really strong flavors, classic kind of evening flavors, but really strong. And so balance those out with raspberry leaf. So good for you, and also gives you a little bit of earthiness to tone things down. And then rose and calendula to add some floral into that. And the exciting thing is all of those ingredients can be grown in Alaska, which is really, really exciting. So, and it's just a beautiful, she's fluffy, she's super aromatic.
Oh, I've been getting those aromatics for weeks now. It's been absolutely fantastic. Just so floral, that kind of herbal quality that goes with it. It's delicate, but it's still kind of very present.
Yeah.
It's,
I love to hear it.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go over the ingredients that we're making some cocktails out of
let's do it.
for this month. So the three different cocktails that we're making, the proper, the elevated, and the modified. For the proper, we're doing kind of a little bit more of a classic sour structure. So something that's kind of in that vein of a gin gimlet,
Yeah.
that sort of structure. For the modified, we're doing a more of a stirred Manhattan style, but what we're really going to feature right now that we're going to make is going to be a fizz. And so we're going to start with our base of a London Dry Gin.
Okay.
Looking at the flavors that we're going to get out of the Aurora Dreams, you know, with the mint, with the raspberry, the chamomile and the rose. We want to have kind of a real herbal base. So we're going to start with the London Dry Gin that then is going to be supported with a Sauvignon Blanc. Now, this is the second month that we've used wine, but we're using it in a really different style this month. You know, last month we did do a New York sour structure where we did a float of a big dry Chilean Pepeño red.
Yeah, it was so good.
But this month, we're actually going to be mixing the wine in, almost using it like a vermouth.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be, with that Sauvignon Blanc, we're going to get those kind of nice grassy notes. We're going to get some delicate citrus in it. And it's just really going to give the cocktail some complexity. The star of the show is the Aurora Dreams Infusion.
You did a beautiful job with this, by the way.
Thank you very much. And then the other ingredients are really just kind of meant to support that flavor profile, where we do have a bittered rose honey that we created to give the cocktail, to just accent the tea and to just give it some balance and some depth. And then a little bit more citrus, where we blended grapefruit and lemon together to really give, again, some little bit more complexity on the acidic side of the cocktail. And then we're going to be finishing off the cocktail with a grapefruit. And then we made an Aurora Dreams aromatic that we're going to spritz over the top of it for the aromas. So, let's make a cocktail.
I'm so excited. I
ready?
haven't had one of these yet. I get
for you to try
to be the very first taste tester.
You are the guinea pig.
Besides,
You are the guinea pig.
I'm excited.
So, we're going to start with 1 3/4 ounces of our gin. And then that is going to be supported with the spirit with just a 1/2 ounce of that Sauvignon Blanc. We just want that hint in there for balance. We don't want that to be a big presence in the cocktail. But again, just to support the kind of star of the show, with 3/4 ounces of the Aurora Dreams Infusion syrup. Then just a 1/4 ounce of the bittered rose honey.
Beautiful.
Just enough to round the cocktail out.
Oh, yeah.
And then for the fizz, to really kind of brighten all the ingredients up, to brighten the cocktail up, we're going for a full ounce of the lemon grapefruit blend, which that combined with the acidity that we put in from the Sauvignon Blanc should really give this cocktail a nice, tart, refreshing presence. So, with the fizz, we're going to start with our egg white. And after we've gotten our egg white into the tin, we're going to be doing a dry shake,
Okay.
which is a technique that we always want to do when we're using an egg white. So we're going to seal all the ingredients without ice,
Okay.
and we're going to shake the cocktail until that egg white is completely emulsified through the cocktail.
Okay.
And as I'm shaking, we're going to be able to feel that in the tin, and we're going to be able to hear that in the tin.
All right.
Right? So we're going to start. You're going to hear that it
Step back.
kind of sloshes around a little bit.
Yeah.
But as we shake it, you can feel in the tin, as well as kind of hear that it starts to get pressurized. You don't feel the liquid moving around as much in the tin.
Heard that pop.
And you hear that pop. So as you can kind of see,
Oh, yeah. She's
you
gorgeous.
should have a really nice kind of white, fluffy, bubbly texture. So that's how we know that we've incorporated that egg white completely through the cocktail. And now we're going to finish that with a standard bar shake, where we add ice. And now we're going to want to chill the liquid, dilute the liquid, and get it ready to finish the cocktail.
All right.
All right. Now this is going to be one that we pour into a high-walled Collins glass without ice.
Okay.
And the reason that we go without ice when we're doing a fizz is we don't want the ice in the cocktail itself to kind of break the cocktail down.
Okay,
We
that
want
makes
this
sense.
form, we want this foam to build on top of the cocktail. And we're not really going to be able to get that if we're pouring this over ice.
That's gorgeous.
So we're going to shake that until we get every last drop of it.
It's like you're a professional or something.
We've done this once or twice.
Oh, man.
And then we're going to finish this with a little bit of soda water.
Okay.
We're going to add some more bubbles to it that's really going to help kind of push the foam to the top of the cocktail to give us that really frothy presence that we want when we're doing a fizz.
Is that why you used a little bit more of the ingredients for this one as opposed to the other one?
It is.
To make it a little stronger because you're going to use the...
It is.
Okay, cool. That
So
makes sense.
we did increase those ingredients because we want a little bit more of a presence because we're going to add a little bit more dilution to it.
Perfect. Yeah.
So as we can see, and you can actually start to see it,
Oh, yeah.
is a line kind of starts to build where that really starts to separate the body of the cocktail with the foam.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So as that separates, we'll slowly start to pour some soda water down into the cocktail. And this will continue to separate as you're pouring the soda water. And we'll just kind of bring that up to the top.
Oh,
If we do it right, we're going to be able to get that foam to kind of
Yeah.
climb over the top of the rim to give just a really nice aesthetic sort of presence. And then we are going to finish this with a dehydrated grapefruit.
oh my goodness.
And then about 2 pumps of our aromatics over the top of the cocktail.
That is gorgeous.
So that is the elevated version of Neptune Rising.
It's beautiful.
Well, here's the most important part.
Yes. Oh, for me.
For you.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right. Drink around the grapefruit. It's so good. It's so yummy. It's got that like summer evening warm like tartness that you want with like all the herbals. It's really nice. I'm gonna just sit on and
I
drink some.
think you should just, you sit and sip on that. You had a,
I know it needs like another minute so I can. You have to be patient with this
it
cocktail.
is. It is.
But it's beautiful.
Well, fortunately,
It's
there's
just
enough that
gorgeous.
this doesn't have to be the only one.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know, lather, rinse,
I
and
know.
repeat as much as.
Seriously, this is a generous amount of stuff in the cocktail boxes.
Absolutely.
You're doing
Absolutely.
a great job.
So, well, we were incredibly excited to be using Felicity Loft tea and Aurora Dreams. I'm just going to let her kind of do her thing right now.
Oh no, this is so good. I'm enjoying it so much, and it's super frothy. And you can see
Yeah,
it probably
there
see better
you're really
now.
starting
You're
to get
starting
that
to see it.
separation right
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
there. Indeed.
I'm really excited to drink this. So thank you for making
Well,
it for me.
thank you. And I definitely want to thank everybody out there for their continued support with Charon's Crate. Huge, huge thank you. Megan, this has been an absolute pleasure to work with you this month and for you to share your amazing product with us. How can people find your tea?
Yeah, so you can find my tea in about 20 locations around the state. At felicityloft.com, we've got a list of places that carry our tea, as well as you can buy directly from the website as well. And then I also carry some like wares and mugs and from small makers and things like that as well. So you can find me on there, and you can follow me on social media as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to have me here, but also, you know, to highlight another small local maker in your boxes. Like, it's beautiful. You've done such a gorgeous job, and I
Well,
just appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And it's so fun to work. There's so many amazing, talented people in our Alaskan community.
There are.
So
Truly.
this has just been a big goal of ours with Charon's Crate, is to, you know, reach out and to start collaborating with other very passionate, inspired individuals in the Alaskan community.
Well, you've been wonderful to work with, so
well,
thank you so much.
Cheers.
And cheers.
Thank you to everybody. As always, thank you so much to our partners over at La Bodega.
Cheers
And
to you guys the most.
we will see you next time. Cheers.
Have a good one.